All right, YouTube, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. I missed you guys. No NBA games yesterday, but we're jumping back into it today with a bunch of games. And when there's a big slate of NBA games, that is where I feel like I'm at my best. That's where I feel like I just love what I'm doing the most, because we get to jump into each and every game and just talk some NBA basketball. And like I always tell you guys, all of these games, what I'm talking about is where my head's at, what I'm thinking about the game, my thoughts on the game. But my final plays, I tell you guys each and every video, right? My final plays will be in the pinned comment, what we're actually going to be rolling with. Last video, we went 3-3, which was unfortunate, but we did hit our ride of the day, which I'm very, very excited about, because we've had a couple of ride of the days that just came so close to hitting, and they didn't, but we did pull through with a good ride of the day here. Guys, let me give the shout out. We're obviously not going to be able to pop it up on the screen just because recording this on the phone, we don't have the normal setup, the mic, the camera. I hope you guys do, stick through the video and do appreciate that we're getting these videos out. We are away in a beautiful New Hampshire getaway for the week, so the next couple videos we will be doing just like this. Hopefully you guys can appreciate that. But yeah, back to the ride of the day. It was coming from Tim Smith. It was Devin Booker's over in points. He cashes, guys. If you want to be the ride of the day, all you have to do is hashtag ride of the day in the comments. And you got to shout out win or loss. We're putting my money where your mouth is, and we're jumping on board with your research, your intellect, your findings, and I'm jumping on board with one of the picks that you guys give me in the comments. So use hashtag ride of the day in the comments. Also, I want to say this. We've developed a player prop model for points and also a spread and over-under model that are both hitting at a crazy clip this season. I'm posting that daily on the community tab for members, which we call ballers on the channel. Shout out to the ballers on the channel. Guys, if you do want to become a baller, a member of the channel, and get that sort of extra level of analytics and whatnot, just click the join button in the description. It's right next to the subscribe button, guys. Hit that join button. It's $2.99 a month. A really good deal. We have an awesome community there. So become a baller today, guys. It's one way to support the channel, and then also each and every second of us going through this channel, we're trying to figure out how we can provide that extra level of value to the people that do want to support us on a month-to-month basis. So make sure to hit that join button in the next to the subscribe button. While you're down there, if you're not subscribed, hit the subscribe button, then hit the join button, then hit the like button. Big old happy family, guys. Hit all the buttons. I do appreciate it. But we have so many games on the NBA slate tonight. I apologize for rambling, but let's jump right into it. We have the Magic here hosting the Dallas Mavericks. The Magic 6.5-point favorites. I have seen 7 on some books, so obviously you're on Dallas' side. You're going to want to search for that line. Total is 217.5. To me, this line is a pretty sharp line. I'll be completely honest. 6.5 seems like a little bit too much to give Dallas on the road. A 3-5-1 team against the spread this season. In fact, Orlando is better than Dallas against the spread this season, 4-5-2. But what I do like about this game is the over. Now, 217.5, I do think is a fair line for these two teams. I'm not going to say this is going to be a 240-plus game, right? But I think a 217 is totally manageable. I think that this team can, or either one of these teams can give you 110 plus. I think the Mavericks probably end up winning it by 4 points or so. So ultimately, I'm going to lean the Magic plus 6.5. Don't love that. Like I told you guys, my final plays will be in the pinned comment. But what has a chance to be a final play here is going to be the over 217.5. Now, keep an eye on the pinned comment to see if that becomes a final play. As always, I say that, guys. I say that a million times in each video, but keep an eye on that. And before we get into the next play of the day, guys, I want to talk to you about MyBookie. I got to give it to you after the first play, right? Make sure the retention's there. Make sure you guys are paying attention. But really, guys, give me 2 seconds to talk to you about the best sports book out there. MyBookie, guys. Use the link in the description. You get a deposit match on your deposit the first time you deposit using the promo code GBS. All the info is in the description. If you're going to make a sports bet tonight and you're not on MyBookie, why would you not go over to MyBookie and make that play for free? Depending on how much you deposit, you're going to get a % bonus and get that money for free. So if you put $10 in, $10, right? That little amount. you're going to get like $5 back. You can make a $5 free bet. Head over to MyBookie, guys. Link in the description. Use that promo code GBS. I always tell you guys, it's best to have multiple sports books. You can compare odds, compare lines, all that good stuff, guys. Head over to MyBookie. Use that link in the description. Next game on the slate here, we have the Pacers taking on the Nuggets. Pacers 5.5 point dogs, at home. Total is 235.5. When I first saw this line, I was like, oh my God, that's such a high line. We got to lean under, right? No, I put this through the model. I start researching the game. I'm like, this has a chance to be literally a 235 game. So immediately I'm off of the total, right? But what I will say is I start looking to Denver. They're 5-5 against the spread this season. That ain't all that great. But they're 7-3 straight up. This is a good ball club. And I don't think that 5.5 points is all that much to give for a team that has the reigning MVP, has a superstar there. In terms of injuries, nothing major to note from the Denver end. They're coming off of 3 straight wins. Not the best teams. It's Oklahoma City, San Antonio, and San Antonio. I get that, but they're 2-1 against the spread in those games. And they covered a 6.5 point spread, and they covered an 11.5 point spread. I'm going to lead Denver in this one. I think they're the better team. I don't think that Indiana has the capability to truly keep this close. I will say Indiana is playing better. Indiana is playing good basketball as of late, covering against Miami, actually winning the game outright, and then covering and winning the game outright against the Pelicans. But that's why I'm kind of off of Indiana altogether. I feel like that's the type of situation where, okay, they've been covering, they're doing their thing, right? They're doing their thing out there. Denver comes out and says, no. It's real basketball right now. We're the better team. So I'm going to lean Denver minus the 5.5. Keep an eye on the pinned comment. Why? To see if they're final play. All right, guys, we got Portland taking on the Hornets. Hornets getting 4.5 points. This line opened up at, I think, +6. So people must be hammering Charlotte, which I wouldn't necessarily expect because Portland is 8-2 against the spread. You have 2 teams that I have been crazy on in terms of winning money this season. The total is 222 right now. This thing opened up, I think it was around 221. So obviously people are looking at the over there too, and Vegas is adjusting accordingly. I'm not going to pick a side on this game, but I will say I'm going to take the contrarian pick. And I'm going to look at under here now. I could be the dummy in the room, but my model has this game going at 211. That's an over 10-point margin, okay? Trust my model, don't trust my model, whatever you want to do, but I'm trusting it tonight. Like I said, guys, I'm posting these models for both spreads and totals in the community tab for all the ballers, aka the members on the channel, $2.99 a month. And we're also posting the player prop points model that we have. That thing went 61-35 last night, or 2 nights ago. 61-35. It's hitting at a near 60% clip on the season. I'm trusting my model in this one, and I'm going to look at the under 221, even though I wouldn't say all, because the model is based on stats, but a bunch of stats and public opinion is pointing towards the over. I'm going to go under in this one. I don't love a side, but I am going to look at the under. Next up, we have my Boston Celtics hosting the Detroit Pistons. Celtics giving up 11.5 points, and I love the Celtics, but they're not covering this well this season. Neither the Pistons. I hate to have another game in a row that I am just kind of like not looking at a side here, but 11.5 points. I love my Celtics, but I don't think that 11.5 points is a fair line here. If anything, I lean Detroit. I'm not going to make that a final play. I can't bet against my home Celtics team. So I'm going to stick away from this game. And honestly, that total at 226 is kind of spot on for me. Like, I don't think that this game varies from a 220 to 230 game. And if you put that line right in the middle, it becomes a 225, 226 game. So to be completely honest, I'm going to stick away from this game. I know that I don't love that, giving that to you guys or anything like that. But again, I'm going through each game. I'm giving what I'm thinking, give you my insight, my leans. I'm not going to make up a pick just for the video. So for this one, I am sticking away, and it just kind of happens that it is my Boston Celtics who I get enjoyment out of watching regardless of monetary input. So guys, we're sticking away from that game. I apologize, but that's the truth. I'm not going to give you a fake play just for the video here. Next game, we have the Toronto Raptors 9-point favorites over the Houston Rockets. 223 and a half is the total in this one. This Rockets team, I think that they are much more invested in getting that number 1 overall pick than winning games this season. And then this Raptors team, 6-5 straight up, 8-3 against the spread. I'm going to lean Raptors here. I do hate to lay 9 points with a Raptors team here that isn't really impressing me when it comes to totally covering games, I guess. They go out there and they lose to Chicago last game, beat Chicago by 9 points. Then they lose to Dallas prior to. We're working backwards here. They do have the big win against San Antonio, big win against Atlanta, but they lose to Philly. Like, this season has been pretty confusing and rocky for this Toronto team here. Pascal Siakam still out with the groin here, so I don't love this play, but I can't put my money behind the Rockets yet. Now, I said that last season. Do you guys remember the Rockets went on this ridiculous tear? Maybe that happens again at some point, but right now I'm going to lean the Raptors here. Minus 223 and a half. I don't hate anything about that. I think that's a pretty fair line, so I'm probably not on the total. If anything, I lean Raptors -9 or nothing. Keep an eye on the pinned comment, guys, like I always say. Nets hosting the Knicks. Nets 2.5-point favorites over the Knicks. 223 and a half is the total, and for whatever reason, my mind, or I should say my gut, this big old gut, which we are working on, guys. We're working on the big old gut. But this big old gut, guys, I went to Nets right away, and I was like, why do I like the Nets right away? All this drama, blah, blah, blah. And then I'm like, you know what? No. This Nets team is actually 3-0 in their last 3 games against the spread. The Knicks, they're playing decent basketball. They lost against the spread against Boston. Then they end up taking the outright win against Minnesota. But for whatever reason, I'm thinking, and I've said this, guys, in multiple videos this season, that this Nets team, I think they have what it takes to turn the thing around, right the ship. They have a lot of talent on the team, even without Kyrie dumbass Irving, right? So I'm going to lean Nets here, -2.5. In terms of a total, I do think that this game probably goes under. We've taken plenty Knicks overs this season, but I do like 223.5 under there. I think that's a contrarian pick. I think 70% of the public is on the over, but I like the Nets in the under in this one. All right, next, Atlanta taking on the Jazz. Before we get into it, guys, I will say, you know what? We're going to give you the little comment of the day, which we've said so many times. Now, this is going to be weird because I'm going to give you a word that if people don't get what you're saying, they're going to be like, why the hell are they dropping that word in the comments? But you guys know, a couple videos back, we kind of adopted the king of the under, right? The under king nickname, which was just because someone commented on an NFL video saying like, oh, you pick more unders than most people on YouTube. And I was like, I didn't know that was the case. But if you're still watching right now, guys, drop the word king in the comments. K-I-N-G. You know I'm a spelling bee champ. K-I-N-G in the comments. Let me see who is still watching at the 13-minute plus mark, guys. And also, you know what? If you're doing that and you're not subscribed, then you are the lunatic. You know what I'm saying? If you're going to drop that comment of the day and not subscribe, guys, make sure to hit that like button, comment that, and hit that big red subscribe button. But drop that word king in the comments if you are watching right now. I'm reading all those comments, and man, do I feel blessed to be able to read those comments that are late in the video, giving you that keyword, that secret word to get into the door. You know, that fake knock? That's that version of it. And I'm like, hey, those are the real ones that are watching at that point in the video. So, guys, king in the comments. Let's see who is watching at this point. But moving on here, like I said, we got the Hawks taking on the Jazz. Hawks 3.5-point favorites. 226 is the total. And for no reason other than what the Jazz have done this season, I'm going to lean the Jazz getting the 3.5 points. You guys know I'm fully transparent with you guys, so I'm probably not playing this game. I think that this Hawks team, obviously, taking that win against Milwaukee in pretty dramatic fashion. Like, they look damn good. I don't feel comfortable betting against them. Maybe they hit a hot streak. Maybe that win was a fluke, right? This is just my brain kind of going through the game. But Utah has been too good against the spread as of late. 9-3 against the spread on this season. And you throw in the fact that Trae Young, which I guess I buried the lead here. This probably should be something that I said. Trae Young, questionable in this game. I'm going to lean Hawks here, plus 3.5. Spurs hosting the Grizzlies. Spurs getting 6.5 points here at home. The total is 234. I like the under in this one, even though both of these teams play some up-tempo basketball. I know that. I understand that. Don't call me crazy. I do like the under in this game. Memphis, 2 games in a row that went under. San Antonio, 3 out of the last 4, including the last 3 have gone under. So I'm going to look at the under in this game. I would lean the Grizzlies, -6.5. That's the spread. I don't love that. My play, really, if it were to become a final play, would be the under in this game. OKC, 6.5-point dogs at home against the Bucks, who are 8-2 against the spread, 9-1 on the season. They drop their undefeated record, guys. That's tough, but that's what the Hawks will do to you if they get hot. You know, they have the talent, so the Bucks now 9-1 straight up this season. Oklahoma City, the rumbling, covering Thunder, like we've talked, right? 6-4 against the spread, but they've dropped 3 straight games against the spread. We actually had a 2-unit play against Detroit. You guys know I'll own up to my losses any day of the week. On November 7th, which was Friday, right? Or what was that? Sunday? Whatever it was. We had a 2-unit play against Detroit. OKC looked good. Watched the first half of that game. Felt pretty comfortable about it. Got in the car to come here, all that. And then all of a sudden, I'm looking at the score, and I was like, wait a second. Refresh. Did they just go down by 10? Did they just go down by 12? And they end up losing the game by 9. We took a big L there. So for that reason, I'm probably going to be fading this game. 219.5 is a tough total as well. I'm chalking this game up, guys. You know I love OKC with big numbers at home. I'm chalking this game away. I don't have a read on this game. I don't love anything the algorithm of the model is saying. I'm sticking away from this game. And I apologize for not having a true lead on that game. I know that sometimes that's an issue with you guys, especially in the comments and whatnot, but don't have a read on that game. Not going to bullshit you with your read. Bulls getting 1.5 here at home against the Pelicans. Bulls 7-4-1 against the spread. They obviously just split that series against Toronto. Toronto winning the first one, Bulls winning the second one. The Pelicans, you'd be surprised, but they are terrible against the spread, especially in the last 4. 0-4 against the spread on the season. Now, they have had some injuries. They have their guys back here. Zion's fine. Brandon Ingram has played the last couple games. So I think that they come out of this rut, I would say, and I'm going to lean Pelicans in this one. This is something that I will say, and I've talked about this, guys, with you before. This could be a game where I try and play both sides. I like the Pelicans, right? But I might bet Chicago plus money to start the game. Plus 110, 115, whatever you can get on your book. And then I live bet that game the minute Chicago goes on a run and the Pelicans become live money line underdogs. We've had very good success with that this season. All you have to do is assume, which is where the gamble is, that there's going to be a run in the game. Be willing to stay disciplined and stick it out, and you can end up getting both sides of the game. So I'm hoping to get Chicago like plus 110 pregame, and then maybe they go on like a 10-0 run and the odds flip, and then we get the Pelicans plus 115 mid-game or live. Do you know what I mean? So it's like it cuts into the profit. We get that. But guaranteed profit on any game, you can never tip your nose at. So that, honestly, is probably my goal with this game. But I would say if you guys are looking for a lean, I would lean New Orleans here, minus the 1.5, but I don't think it becomes a final play. Timberwolves, 2.5-point dogs at home against the Suns here. The Suns, surprisingly, and I say surprisingly just because I like the Suns' money line last game, lose to the Sixers by 12 points. Chris Paul is questionable here. Minnesota, Rudy Gobert is actually upgraded to probable after coming out of quarantine. I think this is going to be a very good game. I think that this total is a little high, though. 225. I think 225 and a half. I think this game could be around a 2-10 type game where Phoenix's defense really steps it up, and then Minnesota coincidentally starts to grind it out with Phoenix. I'm going to look at the under in this game. If you're telling me to pick a side here, I say Phoenix as they bounce out of what happened last game, but I don't totally love that. I like the under more than anything in this game. Keep an eye on the pinned comment. I I don't know if I've said that a million times in this video. Maybe 1,000, but I've only said it a million times in other videos and 1,000 in this video. Next game, we got the Kings, 5-point dogs against the Cavs here. I think this Cavs team, in terms of how they match up against this Kings team, I like the Kings team, don't get me wrong. But in terms of matchup, position for position, I think this is a Cavs game all the way. I'm going to go Cavs here, -5. Not really looking at the total, but I do really like Cavs -5. No major injuries to note for them. Malik Monk, who has actually been in multiple games, pretty important for this Kings team, is questionable, whatever that's worth. I think even if he plays, I still look at the Cavs here, minus the 5 points. And then last game on the board, I'll tell you guys right now, I'm probably fading this game. It is the Clippers taking on the Lakers. Two teams that combined are 6-15 against the spread. Wow, amazing. It's lucky that the Clippers are 6-5 straight up because at least they can hang their hat on that. But the Lakers are 2-8 straight up. Neither one of these teams are really impressing me thus far. If you put a gun to my head and say pick a spot here, I look at the under. The total's 221.5. That's what I look at. I'm probably fading the game, guys. So that's all I got for you guys today. Hope you guys do enjoy. Hit that like button. Remember to comment. You know what, if you guys heard that at one point in the video. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.